What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this video we'll be doing this question paper that you see here. This is a national certificate for mathematics N4, and this question paper was written on the 27th of March 2026. It was an X paper that took 3 hours to be written. Now, before we continue with this question paper, we'll do question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, and question 5. So I'm going to leave the timestamp for each and every question that you would like to watch, just in case you don't want to watch this question paper in a sequence order. But on this particular video, we're going to focus on question 1. So before I start with question 1 though, I just like to say thank you very much, guys, for watching, subscribing to the channel, commenting, and not forgetting those who like and share the videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, because we have made lots and lots of videos on previous question papers for N3, N4, and also N5. So without wasting any time, let's go to question 1. Let's do it. All right, here is our question 1. Let me just highlight it. This is our question 1, by the way. So question 1 consists of 3 questions, and it's based on graphs. So we're going to start with 1.1, and then we're going to do 1.2, and then we end with 1.3. So I'm going to create space, and then we do question 1.1 there. Let me create space, and let's do 1.1. All right, let's look at our question 1.1. Now they want us here to draw a net graph of 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 36 is equaling to 0. Now when you look at this, we need to simplify it first so that we can able to see what type of a graph is this one. So we have to transpose 36 on the right hand side. So we have 9x squared plus 4y squared. If we transpose this negative 36 from the left hand side to the right hand side, we're going to have positive 36 there. Now when I look at this, now I start to see that this is an ellipse. So if you don't know, there is a formula for ellipse. It goes like this. You have x squared divided by a squared plus y squared divided by b squared. All this is equaling to 1. So we have to make this equation to be equaling to 1. So when we have to do that, we have to divide by 36 throughout. So all the terms we divide by 36 throughout. Because when you divide by 36, 36 divided by 36, that's going to give us 1. As for the first term, we're going to have x squared divided by 4. And the second term, we're going to have y squared divided by 9. And all this is going to be equaling to 1. Now, if you look at our general formula for ellipse, we can see that a on this one is equivalent to 4. In fact, a squared is equaling to 4. So we can say a squared is equaling to 4. And then let's look at b squared there. B squared is equivalent to 9. So we can say b squared is equaling to 9. Before we continue, you need to understand that a and b are actually the intercept of x and y. A is the intercept of x and b is the intercept of y. So we have a squared and b squared. We need to find a and b. So in order for us to find a and b, we need to square root both sides for a. Right, so our a here is going to be plus or minus 2, because the square root of 4 is actually 2. Same thing with b there. We have the square root b and 9 there. So b is going to be equaling to plus or minus 3, because the square root of 9 is actually 3. We know a and b. So let's draw the Cartesian plane and we can able to draw the graph. So here is our Cartesian plane. Let's start drawing the graph. So let's look at a. Remember, we said a is the intercept of x. So we know that a is actually plus or minus 2. So on x-axis, we're going to have a point there on the negative 2 and another point on the positive 2. Right. Now let's look at b. B is the intercept of y-axis. So as you can see, b is dividing y there. And in b, we have plus or minus 3. So we're going to have a point at positive 3 on y-axis and another point on negative 3 on the y-axis. Then from there, we connect the dots. So here is our ellipse there. So don't forget to name this graph here. You can name it x squared divided by 4 plus y squared divided by 9. All this is equaling to 1. Or you can name it from the original equation there. So guys, this is how you draw the ellipse. I hope you know how to draw it, or I hope this part of the video helped you to understand how to draw this type of a graph. Just in case you did not understand, go to the point where you do not understand, rewatch at that point, and if that doesn't help, do not forget to comment on the comment section, and I'll try to answer you to my level best. But if this helped you to understand how to draw this ellipse, do not forget to like, share, comment, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. We are done with 1.1, guys. Let's go and do 1.2. Here is our 1.2. Now they want us here to draw a neat graph of y minus log base ex is equaling to 0. So first thing that we must do here is to simplify again, because this, it is not simplified. So by transposing this negative log base ex to the right hand side, we'll have the log graph. Y is going to be equaling to, if we transpose that log to the right hand side, we'll have log base ex, like that. This here is the same as y is equaling to natural log x. Just in case you do not know, in order for you to draw the graph of this log, I prefer that you use the table, guys. For me, the table is one of the easiest method that you can use to draw the graph. So let's create a table and draw our graph. All right, so before we insert the x values here, there is something that you need to know, guys. The x values that you have to insert on this row here, they should not be less than 0 and also should not be 0. So we can say that x cannot be less than 0 or equaling to 0. So make sure that x is not less than 0 and it's also not equaling to 0. So we can put something like 0, 0.5 there, maybe 1, 1.5, and also 2 there. So I have the multiplication of 0, 0.5. If you put anything that is less than 0 on this row here, then you will have an error. This explains that our log graph doesn't intercept at y. It actually asymptote on the y-axis. So if we insert 0, 0.5 here or there, the answer that I'm getting from my calculator is actually negative 0.7. There we go. And then when I insert 1 here or there, doesn't matter, one of the two, guys, they are all correct. You will get 0 there. If we insert 1.5 on this or that, the answer that we're going to get here is actually 0.4. There we go. And the last one, if we insert 2 here or there, we're going to get positive 0.7 there. So these are enough for us to actually draw our log graph. So let me create again the Cartesian plane and let's draw our graph. So here is our Cartesian plane. It's time for us to draw this graph here. Remember, guys, you don't really have to use the table for you to draw this graph, but it's best for me to use the table because it's one of the methods that is easier to explain and easy to draw this graph here. All right, so let's start with the first point. Now, here's our first point here. When x is 0.5, our y is negative 0.7. Now, 0.5 for x, it's here. So you take your ruler, you draw a straight line. So let me do it. And then again, you take a ruler, you draw a line from negative 0.7. Now, negative 0.7 on y-axis, it does not show there on our Cartesian plane. But you know that negative 0.7 is between negative 0.5 and negative 1. So in the middle there, we draw a line that is horizontal. Where they meet, that is going to be our point there. There we go. And then we have this point here. When x is 1, our y is 0. Our y is going to be 0 on the x-axis. So at this point here, this is going to be the point where x is 1 and y is 0. Right? And then we come to this point here. When x is 1.5, our y is 0.4. So 1.5 for x, it is here. We draw the line there. There we go. And then for y, we have to draw 0.4. So 0.4 is very close to 0.5 for y. So we say it can be here. we draw the line again, that is horizontal. Wherever they meet, this is going to be our point there. And then we go to the last point. So our last point says when x is 2, y is 0 comma 7. So x is 2 here, we draw the line there vertically going upwards, and then we will look at y is supposed to be 0 comma 7. 0 comma 7 is between 1 and 0 comma 5. So we take a ruler again, we draw a fainted line that is horizontal, and then wherever they meet there, that is going to be our point. So let's connect the dot to draw this graph. There we go. So this here is our graph, guys. I hope you managed to see how we draw it. Now, what's so important about this type of a graph, it's this intercept here, the shape as well. It's very, very important. And for the fact that it's asymptoting on the y-axis. So if it so happen that you did not write these points here, you can always do this. Make sure that you show the intercept 1 and 0. This intercept here is very, very important. And another thing, do not forget to name the graph. So let's name it y is equaling to log base ex, or you can name it y is equaling to ln x, because these are one and the same graph. Guys, I hope you managed to understand how to draw this graph. They really love this graph, guys. So for you to draw this graph, it's best to use the table. But if you know the shape and where the graph is supposed to intercept, the table is really not that useful. But if you decide to use the table, do not forget that you cannot have your x entry that is below 0. So I hope this helped you to understand. If you did not understand how to draw this graph, you can go to the point where you did not understand, rewatch at that point, and if that doesn't help, leave a comment in the comment section. I will try to explain to my level best. But if this part helped you to understand how to draw this log graph, do not forget to like, guys, share, comment, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. All right, guys, we are done with this part of the question. Let's move on to the next part, which is this one here. Right. So this part here, they are asking, what is the domain of the graph y minus log base ex is equaling to 0? So this is the question that they are asking. First of all, when they ask about the domain, they're basically asking on the x-axis. Where does this graph start and where does this graph end? On the x-axis, as you can see, the graph, it actually starts at 0 for x and it goes forever. If you look at the x-axis, it does not cut the y-axis and move on to this side. So we can see our graph start at 0 and it ends at infinity, because if you look at this part here, it goes forever on the positive side of x. So that is the domain. So how are you going to write this? First of all, you can say x is greater or equaling to 0, because this graph here, it doesn't go to the negative side of x, so it's equaling to 0 or greater than 0. But at the same time, it's less than or equaling to infinity. If you look at this graph, it goes forever on the positive side of x, so it's gonna be greater or equaling to infinity. So this is how you represent the domain of this graph. Again, I hope you understood this, guys. Really, this is not difficult. Just look at where the graph starts on the x-axis, because they say domain, and where it ends on the x-axis. So it started 0, but it does not have an ending, so hence we have infinity there. All right, people, I hope you managed to understand how to write the domain as well. Leave a comment if you did not understand. If you did understand, again, do not forget to like, share, subscribe. We are done with 1.2. Let's go and do the other question, which is 1.3. Let's look at 1.3. So the question goes like this: draw the graph of y plus root of 25 minus x squared is equaling to 0. Now this graph here, guys, as well, it need us to simplify it. Let's make y subject to the formula so that we can able to draw this graph. If we make y subject to the formula, you're gonna have negative root 25 minus x squared. This here, guys, is actually a semicircle. Now you need to know certain things about semicircles. We have 4 types of semicircles in this level. we have the upper semicircle and the lower semicircle. We also have the left and right semicircle. Now, how do you distinguish between these four semicircles? Let's start with what this equation equaling to. This equation here is equaling to y. So any equation that is like this, that is equaling to y, just know it's a semicircle, but then you need to know that it's either is the upper semicircle or the lower semicircle. Now, to choose between the two, just know that these signs here, they will tell you which one is the upper, which one is the lower. Since we have a negative there, this means that this is a lower semicircle. Because of is equaling to y, is going to cut or intercept at y-axis. Because of this negative, it's going to be intersecting on the negative side of the y-axis. So in order for us to draw the semicircle, we need to know the radius. Remember, this equation is coming from this. This is a general equation for the semicircle. We have y plus or minus the root of r squared minus x squared. So in order for us to draw this graph, we need to know what is actually r. From what we have given there, we know that r squared is actually equaling to 25. So in order for us to find r, in this case, which is the radius, it's going to give us r is equaling to 5 because we have to root both sides. So our graph is going to cut at positive 5 and negative 5 for x-axis. As for y-axis, is only going to cut on the negative side of y. So let's draw the Cartesian plane so that we can draw this semicircle. So we managed to find our radius. Now let's create the point. Remember, we said our graph is going to cut on y-axis and also on the negative side of y-axis. It means that now this point here is going to be a point for us, and this one here is also going to be a point, and that one is going to be a point. So we said this is a semicircle but a lower semicircle. So let's connect the dots. There we go. So here is our semicircle. As you can see, it's intersecting at y-axis, but on the negative side of y-axis because of the negative there. So what you can do here, you can name this graph y is equaling to negative 25 minus x squared under the root. So basically, this is how you draw the semicircle graph, guys. I hope you managed to understand this one as well. Really, it is not that difficult. It can be confusing because we have lots of semicircles graphs there. But this one, it was the lower semicircle. Just in case this part of the video helped you to understand, do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. But if you have some confusion, you can leave a comment in the comment section or watch at the point where you got lost. All right, guys, we are done with question 1 of this question paper. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Do not forget to hit the bell notification so that whenever I upload the next video, you'll be notified as soon as possible. I hope you managed to pass this question paper. All right, people, next time we'll do question 2. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, cheers.